I'm Asif Khwaja from ATH Business Solutions. Today we are so excited to show you our new version of Timesheet Management app that we have built with Microsoft Power Platform, including PowerApps, SharePoint Online, and Microsoft Teams. I will show you how the app works and where the data for the app is being saved and what improvements we have made. Now, before we look at the app itself, let's remember that we can use any Power App in many different ways. For example, we can embed this timesheet app into a SharePoint site. Now, this SharePoint site could be a team site or it could be a departmental site where employees of that department could go and see this timesheet app on the page and use it there. Similarly, we could also embed this same timesheet management app into a Microsoft Teams. So we could have a channel created under a team, and on that channel, we could create a tab and embed that Power App over there. So all the members of that Microsoft team would be able to come here and use this app and submit their timesheets and manage other things. And of course, they can also run this timesheet management app independent of those applications and run it as an independent app in the browser. And of course, because this is a Power App, and we all know that Power Apps can be used on mobile phones as well, be it Android or iPhone. As long as you have the Microsoft Power app installed on your phone, you can run any Power App on that phone. Now, having understood all that, let's start and see how this timesheet management app works. As an employee, you can go and submit your timesheets. You can also view your all previously submitted timesheets. If I want to submit a timesheet, the submit button will take me to this screen, where I can see the timesheet form. I can select the week that I want to submit the timesheet for. I can change my default approver from my manager to someone else. And I can fill in the times for different days, the start time and the end times and the lunch start and finish times. If I did not work on a particular day, I can click on the reset button in front of that row to clear the times for that day to 0, making the total hours 0 for that day. If any of the values get changed on this form, it warns that the form needs to be saved. You click on the save button to save the timesheet. Once the timesheet is saved, I can click on the Submit for Approval button to submit this timesheet to my manager, John. John will receive an email with a link to this timesheet management app, which will directly open up his approval section for him. As an employee, I can go back to the home page and click on My Sheets. Select a status, for example, submitted, and I can see for the selected week the timesheet that I just submitted. I can also see if I have another timesheet that I have submitted but hasn't been approved yet. But in this case, we don't have any unapproved or in progress timesheets. I can choose to delete my timesheets if I want, but this is something that we can configure and hide from the employee. Going back to the home page, as an approver, I can go in this section and approve any timesheets that are waiting for my approval. But in this particular case, as an employee, I don't have any other timesheets that I need to approve. But if we switch to John's browser because we did submit a timesheet for him to approve. Let's now switch to John's browser and see as an approver what he does. Here we are in John's browser. We can see that John is logged in as a current user. We can also see JK here telling us John is logged in his Office 365 tenant. John can now click on the Approve button to go to the Approve Timesheets screen. And John can see the employees listed here. In this case, it's only one employee. And for that employee, he can see the timesheets that have been submitted and are waiting for his approval. So he can see there are 2 timesheets waiting for his approval. He can choose any one timesheet and see all the details for that timesheet. He can see the status submitted. If John is happy with this timesheet for that employee, he can choose to either approve this timesheet or reject that timesheet. If he chooses to reject it, the comments for the employee are mandatory. But in this case, he chooses to approve this timesheet and clicks on the Approve Timesheet button. When an approver approves a timesheet, it sends an email to the employee indicating that their timesheet was approved. And also note that once the timesheet has been approved, that timesheet has been removed from this drop-down, and the next timesheet is now displayed for his approval. So this is how the approval process works. We can go back to the employee's browser and see whether he has received an approval email. We can open up employee's Outlook, and we can see that employee has received an email from John saying that their timesheet was approved with comments OK approved. Going back to our Timesheet Management app, there are 3 more buttons on this timesheet that are only accessible to authorized people. And by authorized mean they could be a Timesheet Management app administrator, or they can also be a payroll officer, for example. We can add those people in the settings section so that they can access these 3 restricted sections. The search section allows them to search any timesheets from the past for any employees and for any of their statuses. When you click on the search button, it takes you to this Search All Timesheets screen, where you can select an employee and their status. And we can see that employee Asif has a submitted timesheet for this week, and we can see all of his timesheet details. If we select the approved status, we will notice that there is one timesheet, actually 2, that were approved for this employee. And we can see all the details for those timesheets. So all employees who have submitted their timesheets, or whether they are rejected or approved or in progress, they can all be searched and viewed in this screen. All of the employees who have submitted their timesheets will appear in this drop-down. And if there are a lot of employees, we can search them by name. We can also see the approvers' comments on this screen. Search All Timesheets screen allows the administrators or a payroll officer, for example, to investigate and search all past submitted timesheets if there are any conflicts that need to be resolved, or they want to find what happened with a particular timesheet. Going back to the home page, an administrator or a payroll officer can also click on Report button That will open up the timesheet employees weeklies list from the SharePoint site where all of this data is being saved. This list will show them the names of all the employees and their submitted timesheet for specific weeks and their statuses and who their approvers were. This is a SharePoint list where all of the employees' timesheet data is being saved. We can customize this button to link to some other report. For example, if there is a Power BI report that you have created from the timesheet data being created by this timesheet app, we can link that Power BI report to this button. Or you can choose to create any other report, for example, in an Excel document, and choose to link that report with this button. We can configure this button from the settings screen. As an administrator of this timesheet management app, you will have access to the settings section. Let's have a look at what settings screen offers. On this screen, you have to provide a mandatory app web link. The app web link is the link that you can get from the PowerApps portal for the timesheet management app. We need to provide this link in this section here. All the emails that go to the approver for approvals contains a link to this app, and this is the link that is included in those emails. So it is very important that we provide this link here. The link can be accessed from your timesheet app that you have installed under the details section and by copying this link from there. Secondly, this button here asks you whether you want to use the SharePoint's timesheet list for reporting. If you choose to select yes, then you would need to provide the URL to that SharePoint site, and then based on that, it will automatically create the report URL. And this report URL is the one which is connected to the report button on the home screen. If you choose to select no, then you will have to provide your own link here, which could be a link to the Power BI report or to any other report. If you choose to select yes, then this link will be automatically created for you. Below this, you provide the default times for the timesheets. If your company starts at 9 o'clock instead of 8:30 and finishes at 5:30, and your lunch times are different, you can define those default times in here and change those times according to your company's timings. Once these times are changed and saved here, all timesheets created by the employee will have default times as defined here. You can also make someone a timesheet administrator, for example, a payroll officer or a SharePoint or Power BI administrator, so that they can have access to those restricted sections of the timesheet app. To add a person here, you can simply click for a person's name, choose the person's name, and simply click on Save button. This will add them to this list. Once John has been added as an administrator, and you click on Save button, if we now switch over to John's browser and go back to the home page and we refresh the app, you will notice that these logs will now appear opened for John, as you can see here. Now John can click on Search button to go inside the search section, or click on the Settings button to go to the settings screen and change any of these settings. So this is the overall functionality of our timesheet management app. We hope you can see the value that this app or solution can provide to your business. If you have any questions or feedback about the app or want to know about any parts of the app as to how we build them, please leave them in the comments of this video. I will try my best to respond to all of your comments. If you need any help with this solution, or want to purchase it, or want to know how this was built and want to build it yourself, please see the links provided below in the video description. You can actually download right now full set of instructions in the PDF format with a step-by-step guide from the link provided in the description of this video to deploy this solution in your own Office 365 environment. With that, I will say have fun and have a good day.